and welcome to another video.
Episode 9.
And this is it episode 9?
I think so.
You said earlier on we're gonna have to stop mentioning what number it is because it's gonna get confusing. We don't know what number it is, do we?
We keep forgetting. We're going to lose track soon. Yeah, we're in double
will.
figures next week though, so that'll be like our first milestone.
Yeah, that's a good point. So anyway, for those astute watchers, those people who watch them, your eagle-eyed people, you might have noticed a slight change here.
We're not next to each other because Graham didn't put any deodorant on this week.
We hate each other. Actually, a lot of people do say, I like your banter, like how you get on together. We absolutely hate each other. This is the honest truth.
No, we don't. Don't say that. That's my wife going off to work now. Bye. Have a good day.
Have a good afternoon. I'll speak to you later.
All right. Love you. Bye.
Oh, isn't that lovely? Love you. Love you.
And that's giving the game away. I'm actually at home and not at Magic Box. So, this is my office at home. You might see a cat walking past at some point. Don't worry about that. We'll just carry on as if nothing's happened.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Lots of stuff to discuss this week. For anybody watching, this is just a bit of a one-off. Hopefully they won't be like this often. They will be like this every now and then, we think. Yeah. But hopefully not all the time. Hopefully we'll be together.
No, we'll try and get together because we miss each other badly. So there was you were talking about this. There was a video that was filmed at the convention the other week, it was Phil Caddick, and he was asking loads of questions about who's your favourite magician, and it was like stuff like Darren Brown or Max Maven, stuff like that.
Yeah, and one of them like Penn or Teller, Ant or Deck.
Yeah, it wasn't Ant or Deck.
Was it not?
No, Ant and Deck weren't in there. It was all magicians. So It was like Blaine and Dynamo.
And you had to pick one.
And all that. And one of them was Graham Shaw and me. And the only person who voted for Graham Shaw was Graham Shaw.
And that's why we're not in the same room anymore.
Graham's still sulking.
I'm still fuming. So anyway, so that's hopefully just addressed that issue. So let's get on with the news. Hey, so here we are. Right, so news. There's some good news this week. Well, good news, good stories.
Well, we weren't really going to... We said we weren't going to do any more news stuff, and then we're doing the news stuff, aren't we?
Yeah, but I think it's newsworthy this week, though.
Yeah? Well, go on then, because we'll start about your... Because you're going to fanboy over him, so we'll go with him first.
I am. So the first thing we'll say is Thursday just gone was David Copperfield's last show at the MGM in Las Vegas.
Oh, no. I'm so sad.
Honestly, I am. I'll be honest with you. When on Thursday, I was thinking I should have gone. Because when I first found out about it, I did actually consider. I thought, should I buy tickets and should I fly over? I mean, I have seen him 3 times, but I did think I should probably go and see it again. And yesterday,
let me get this right. You'd fly over to Vegas to see him perform, but you couldn't drive to Wolverhampton to film this.
Well, some things are important, aren't they? And
I saw one of my Facebook friends, Michael Fitch, who's VP of the Magic Circle, as you probably know. He was there, so I saw some of the photos and stuff, and he put some photos of when he first saw him years ago and stuff. So that was kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah. He has actually put a couple of new things in his show as well. So he's replaced, for anybody who's been to see the show, he's replaced the motorcycle appearance at the start, and he's put a different opening illusion into it. Nobody's really told us what that is yet, but apparently it's very good, and he's put another thing back. So
he's obviously, we talked about this, didn't we, the other week? So he's obviously working on something else. He's obviously got something in the pipeline, and if he's working on new illusions.
So I can tell you a couple of things, and I'll tell you where I got the information from, and this will be a bit of a shout out. So this is a shout out to Richard Young and the Magicians Podcast. It's back in the day there was, if you don't already know, but there's a thing called Magicians Podcast, which Richard Young runs. It's very, very good. It's well worth checking out. He ran 100 episodes, and the last episode was an interview with David Copperfield. And then he brought it back about 6 to 12 months ago as a paid subscription thing. And at first I was a little bit dubious about a subscription. I thought, should I, shouldn't I? But some of the interviews have been amazing. He's had interviews with like the Blackpool organisers and stuff. And it's really good if you're driving somewhere on a long drive. Like for me, you were driving to a gig somewhere, to a show, and it's an hour. I'm just sitting listening to that. So anyway, he did an interview with Chris Kenner earlier this week. I think it was Monday or Tuesday, and what a great interview. He asked him all the questions that me and you and probably everybody wants to know. Is he retiring? Is he moving? What's he got planned? What's happening with the moon? It gives you all of that. He tells you everything. So I won't spoil it because I think it's well worth listening to that podcast, even just for that one interview. But what I can say, and I don't think this is anything funny, to me, it sounds like he's moving to another casino. He's definitely not retiring. So his show is going to go on, and he's going to do it in another venue. That's what it sounds like.
You mentioned you thought he might be going out on tour.
Yeah, they discussed that as well. He might still be doing that. Yeah, that hasn't been ruled out. So you think
it's going to be another casino rather than, I imagine when you're sort of big time like him, you know, these casinos are going to be they're going to be vying for his signature and stuff like that, you know. But I mean, they can afford to buy anybody they want, can't they? I mean, you look at the people who've had residence there over the years.
He's not doing it for the money. He does it because he loves doing it. He loves working. Like Chris Kenner was saying, the MGM doesn't want them to do 15 shows a week. They did not want that. They didn't want that. And his team pushing that we're doing 15. That's what we're doing. We're doing 15 shows. He likes it. It's it's his lifestyle. Yeah. He does one show in the afternoon, another one at night, and apparently that's what David likes to do. He's a workaholic, and I don't think he'll ever retire. So it sounds to me like they're going to go to another casino. So that's kind of good for me, because I was like, I can't believe I've missed the last show. I'd like to go and see it again. But the fact that I think he's going to go to another casino or carry on doing a show in some form somewhere makes me excited. To go, right, I'm going to go back to Vegas. Let's get a flight booked. Let's go.
Yeah, I've never been to Vegas.
Do it.
It's one of the places. It's never appealed to me massively, other than when I was younger. That's where all the big fights were. There's
quite a few in Newcastle if you come out on a Friday night.
Yeah, over a kebab.
Yeah, so when you move up here, it's perfect for you.
I'm talking about boxing now, not people rolling around on the floor in a car park. But yeah, so I mean, I'd love to go, but I've just never got around to it. So the other thing, while we're talking about America, and I didn't mention this to you earlier, but it was the 4Fs convention last week as well.
Yeah,
and that's something that, you know, I'd love to get invited there one year, and you're looking at it and it's just a real who's who of close-up magic, you know, John Bannon and, you know, Eric Dickler and all these sort of people, you know, doing, and they all get up and perform for each other. It just looks absolutely fantastic. It's like, it looks almost CCC-ish in its, but it's like, I mean, that convention's been going for 50 years now, I think, or something like that, maybe.
Yeah, it's something I've never been to it. I would love to go, even, you know, just as a dealer, and at some point in the future. There's a few conventions I'd like to do. That's one of the ones I would like to do at some point.
I'm not even sure they have dealers at it, mate.
Are they not? Really?
I don't think so. I think they just all get together, and it's an invitation only, and they just all get together and perform for each other and lecture and stuff like that. I don't think it's like a traditional close-up or a traditional convention. I could be wrong. I've got some friends who go. So Tony Antonio usually goes. Daryl, oh God, I've got his name. He's going to kill me. Daryl, normally goes.
Rose.
Daryl Rose.
Daryl Rose.
Okay. God, how bad is that? And Christian, after the CCC convention, Christian Grace flew out the next day, and he was there as well. So,
right.
So there's a few, you know, we're well represented. There's a few British guys over there. And Tony didn't go this year, but Daryl was there. I've seen photos and stuff. So yeah, it looks great. And then what was the other thing you wanted to talk about as well?
Oh, the other thing in the news, which I thought that this is newsworthy as well, is Mr. Oz Perlman was nearly shot, was nearly assassinated. Well, he wasn't, but he was nearly assassinated.
Well, it was.
So I thought this is really interesting thing to talk about.
It was a weird thing, wasn't it? Because he was sort of standing there between between Donald Trump and Melania
and his wife,
and he was just about to sort of get to the end of some.
He was actually doing a reveal at the time. He was doing a reveal. Actually, same over.
And then all of a sudden. And the photographs they've put of Donald Trump and he's like this.
Yeah.
And he could look more bored if he tried it. And I wonder if that's just like, if somebody takes a photo, you're sort of half blinking, you can look like that, can't you?
Yeah.
Or whether he was like, but yeah, and he was like you mentioned earlier, it's the worst possible way to perform magic or mentalism. He's over the shoulders and there's nobody else there, and it's really, you get it at weddings and stuff, don't you? We were talking about
so we were talking about this before we started this video. So obviously me and Chris both do weddings, and one thing which is always an awkward thing is doing the bride and groom at the top table. And generally this doesn't always happen. Usually they're not on a stage, they're just on a long table, so you can go at the front of the table, which is fine, and you're just doing that like you would do a normal close-up session in front of a table. There's usually 6 or maybe 8 people on the long table. It's long, so it's a bit awkward. You've got to go from either end.
You've normally got the wedding party, and you see you've got like the bride's parents and the groom's
either side,
the best man and the bridesmaid and stuff like that.
But you do sometimes do a wedding where they're on a physical platform or a stage, which means you can't go in front of the table because they're too high, which means you have to go around the back. And now you've got this really awkward situation where you're leaning forward, they've got the backs to you, and you're leaning forward in between them, hence the whole Oz Perlman thing, doing it. And it's an awkward position to do your stuff, especially if you're doing card stuff or anything visual, because it's very difficult, your angles for people to see.
Well, they're having to do this, aren't they?
Exactly, it's just awkward.
And that's where things like chop cup, for example, where you using the space in front of them would work well. But it's an interesting take on the sort of material that we choose and for the environment that we work in. You know what I mean? It makes it really. It does make it really interesting.
What is good in that situation, only one of the pros that I know for that situation, it's very good for photos for me and for the bride and groom, because you've got the bride and groom either side. I do a trick with a watch where I do a watch steal and produce the watch here, and that always gets good because you've got a nice flash of fire when you produce the watch. Or anything you've got where the bride and groom are in front of you, you've got the hands together and you've got something there, whether it be a pack of cards or an item or something, and they're there and you're in the middle. It's really nice. It frames that really well. So it's good for that, but difficult. But sort of back to the Oz Perlman thing, like there's people saying, like, Trump was so bored. I think unfortunately the camera's caught at a bad time, and obviously Oz Perlman would have got, you saw in the video, he got a shock. He like just steps back and like panic. Of course you would. You know what I mean? You are the first person, you are closest person to the president during an assassinate. I don't even, you know what I mean?
It's crazy. And he's copying I seem to have seen a lot of people on my socials, at least, having a dig at him and stuff, and I'm not quite sure why that is. I don't know whether I don't know what he's done in the past, if anybody wants to comment, but people are sort of giving him a lot of flack for some reason. But, and some of it's political, I get that. Everybody's got their opinions, but it's, what would you do? Somebody starts taking shots when you're in the middle of a gig. I think the worst I've ever seen is when the fight's about to kick off. At a wedding where they've all been drinking all afternoon.
Yeah. Have you been there? I've had kick-offs where I turned up. This is good. We're going down a rabbit hole here now, but I've done a wedding before where I turned up, and as I got there, the police were there. And it had just been calmed down, and basically there was chairs chucked during the meal, because I was getting there at the lull, just after the meal was finished. And the bride and groom had gone, and literally as they arrived, the police were there, and the manager of the hotel came up and just said, "You're the magician, just want to double check, have you been paid?" And that was the first question. Now, when you get asked that question before you've started, you know that there's an issue. So I went in, and it was to be honest, it was a really good time for a magician. I'll tell you why, because all the tables of guests were awkward. They were sat quiet. There was no music on, nothing. They didn't really know what to do. They were all sat there. Obviously, the kickoff had happened. The police had took somebody away, apparently. And I went in and just went up the table and lightened the mood and started doing magic. And it was almost like thank God.
Mad. And was it a good gig in the end?
It was a great gig. I never got to see the bride and groom because I don't think they got arrested, but they had gone off because of the argument or whatever had happened. I don't know exactly what the argument was about, but I know it was I think it was the father of the bride and somebody else or something had had some altercation.
So I'll tell you what, that though, how many times over the years have you've looked at a gig on paper before you've got there and you've gone, this is going to be a nightmare, this.
I know what you're going to say.
And you get there and it's like, fantastic. And then other times you booked at a really nice. I got booked at this really posh venue in Stratford upon Avon once, and I'm thinking, this is like, it's like probably the poshest hotel in a really posh town. I thought this is going to be amazing. And when I got there, the drinks reception just overran and ran and ran, and the food was really late. And everybody was just drinking. They were on the beers. It was outside. It was a sunny day, and by the time they went upstairs to sit down, they were all absolutely pissed.
Yeah.
And I could just feel that the fight was about one false look, one funny look away, and everything else. And then another time I got booked at and this is like the creme. This is, mate. This was Lower Gornal Working Men's Club, right?
Sounds lovely.
Yeah. Well, I got there, and same thing. I don't know whether I was being a bit snobby. I'm like, this is going to be a disaster. This, and I got there, and they'd hide it for a wedding, and they decorated the room and everything, and it was brilliant. They were just great people.
Yeah. I find sometimes some of the rougher places that I do are the best ones. 100%, the best gigs I do. Yeah.
I was talking about.
They're up for a laugh. They're up for having fun.
Yeah, I was talking about this to someone the other week. I did a gig once for Poundland, right? And before you ask, that wasn't my fee.
I was going to go there. Of course I was going to go there.
Of course you was. I'd be disappointed if you didn't. So that's why I thought I'd do it first. So it was Poundland. And then you got all the directors on one side of the room, and then you got all the people the guys who worked in the warehouse on the other side of the room, and then you got all like the middle management, like sales reps and all the rest of it in another part of the room. And the ones who were the best and were the absolute best laugh and everything were all the guys out of the warehouse, just like normal, and the upper management were fine. It was just the middle management wannabes who were bumholes, so there you go. We've gone off a tangent again, Greg.
We have gone off a tangent, but yes. Anyway, Oz Perlman's not dead. He hasn't been assassinated. Neither has Donald Trump. So the world is still
good news.
A great place. Good news. We're not going to get political though, are we? So good. So there we go. That's the news. We'll move on. What's next?
Old school.
Old school. So let's go back to the old school. So here we are, old school, and this week is very old, isn't it? Nearly as old as Mr. Congreaves on the on my left, or is it me right? Don't know. But this is old. This is very old school. And it is mental photography deck. So this is a very, very old trick.
Are you going to perform it?
I can do. Yeah, I can do a basic routine. This is the routine that I normally use to dem it. I'm trying to think of how far this would date back. Chris, any ideas?
Oh, no.
Before I was born.
It's been around a good long time. As long as I don't know. Well, do it, and then we'll talk about the method and stuff like that.
Okay, so I might have to stand up here to get this on shot. Right, so here is a demonstration of the mental photography, and because of Taylor's expert editing technique, this will just flow seamlessly into the video. Anyway, so here it is. So this is a brand new pack of cards, a brand new deck of bicycle cards. In fact, they're so new, they haven't even got any ink on them, because this is what cards look like before they leave the factory, blank on both sides. Sometimes, though, if you know any magic, you can give the cards a cut and get a 4. You don't get the back, though, you just get the 4. But not with this deck, because this is actually a blank deck. It's what they look like before they leave the factory. Sometimes, if you're a really good magician, you can cut the cards and get a 7. This time, I'll get it back. Look, if I get the... Oh no, sometimes what happens is it misprints the back. See how it's misprinted the back to the bottom. Sometimes that can happen, but not with this pack, because this is a pack brand new from the factory. It's what they look like before they leave the factory. If you're a really good magician like Chris, what's he called? Chris Congreve. I think that's what he's called. Sometimes you can cut the cards and get a jack. If you get the jack, you don't just get a jack. You get you get the hearts, you get 6 of clubs, you get 10 of diamonds, you even get the 3 of hearts. In fact, not just that, you actually get what looks like a full pack of bicycle cards like this. Obviously not with this pack though, because this is a brand new pack. It's what they look like before they leave the factory. Brand new cards with nothing on them. So unfortunately, I can't show you that trick because these are too new.
There you go.
So that's
fantastic.
Taylor's saying we're going to film that trick separately and we're going to cut that in, apparently.
Better. I think so,
He's very clever. It's very clever, Taylor. So he's going to cut that in a minute. But yeah, so that's mental photography. That's the routine that I generally do if I perform it or if I'm demoing it.
And there's been so it's been around that long that if you've got any sort of a magic library, there's books that have got routines using that pack as well. I think David Regal, for example, has got one in one of his books, and there's stuff throughout all sorts of things. And I know Alakazam have come up with different routines using that sort of same principle. But to be honest, that is as magical as it gets, you know. And also an interesting thing that you can do with that pack, if you want to, is you can start off with a regular pack, and then you can make them all vanish as well, rather than starting with the blank pack, which is an interesting, you know, you can go two ways with that.
Yeah,
with
that's
that
a
pack.
good concept. Yeah, that's a good idea.
So there's a lot of ways you can go with it. Yeah, but it's just, you know, I mean, you would put in a little bit of sleight of hand in your routine, but you don't have to. You can just do it as a completely self-working effect, where you literally all you've got to be able to do is cut the cards. And
if you can cut a pack of cards, you can essentially do the trick. That one in particular is manufactured by Murphy's Magic.
Yeah, so it's well made.
Various different versions of it on the market, made by different companies all around the world. And that one's made by Murphy's. It comes with written instructions. I think it's Daryl's routine that comes with them. Just having a quick look at the instructions, reminding myself of the routine it comes with. It's a Daryl routine, and it's actually actually it's old-fashioned instructions. Look, it's actually
great
printed instructions.
Yeah,
you don't get printed instructions very often these days, do you?
No, but that's all you need, isn't it, for something like this? It's very. I would imagine that routine is fairly sort of straightforward to follow and to perform and everything else.
Yeah.
If you can if you know how a Svengali pack works, then it's essentially the same method with something else added. So you just got that that show that you would use with the Svengali pack, basically.
Yeah. So it's a Svengali pack, and without giving it away, it's also R and S. Does that make sense? Code words. It's R and S and Svengali deck combined, essentially.
It's code words for rough and smooth.
Oh, you. What's he like?
We're all friends, yeah.
We're all friends. So yeah, but a great deck. And you can do, like Chris says, you can do loads of other things with it as well. That's just
so 13 quid, and it's something that you know you can just have in your case, ready to go all the time.
I do use it actually occasionally. Sometimes I'd visit the hospital sometimes, and I do the children's cancer wards, and it's quite a cool, quick thing to bring out and show like a teenager, like somebody who's like my son's age, for instance, like 9, 10, 11, 12, like that sort of age is quite good, and I do that routine.
Well, that's an interesting thing you said there, because you could probably do it with younger kids as well.
Yeah.
Because they don't need to know what the cards mean and what they stand for.
Exactly.
You can blank cards, cards or vice versa. So it's a way of doing a card trick for kids as well.
And I also think adults, you know, it's rare. Adults like don't see a blank card. This is a really strange item to somebody who's not the magic. I talk about that
when I lecture, actually, because I do a thing with a blank card. And as magicians, we get used to seeing these things, but you're absolutely right. You know, lay people, they don't. It's like
this is a really weird, odd thing. A pack of cards that are blank is very, very strange item for a non-magician, for a layman, for an adult. But I think it's a great little trick. It's been around longer than we have. And there you go.
There you go. That's the old school.
Old school. Let's go. Next is the reviews. Is that right? So let's go.
No questions.
Questions.
Over to you.
Over to you. Oh man, I've got. So question number 1 comes in from Darren Lawbury, and it is Indian or Chinese food.
Very relevant. I'm going to say Indo-Chinese.
Just easy for me. It's Indians. Right, moving
Yeah.
on. Yeah, right now.
Indians.
Yeah, Indians. Why? What's wrong with Indians, like?
Oh, it's you normally call it Indian, not Indians. That's weird.
What do you mean? I just said
Food.
Indians.
Indians, yeah, but
But
anyway, it doesn't matter. Carry on.
I don't. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
Indians.
normally you say Indian for Indian food, not Indians.
Oh dear. Well, we don't up here. You see, I'm going to go for an. I'm going to go for an Indians.
It's that Midlands Geordie divide again, isn't it?
Taylor, what would you say? We're going to go for an Indians. It doesn't. Okay, that's moving on. Right. Okay, moving on. A proper question. Okay, this comes from David Allen Strother, and it's: you have 3 tricks in your pocket to work at tables. Which 3 do you do? Now I can pick my 3 like that straight away. If I had to pick 3, I know what you are. You go first. And I'm going to. You go first, and if yours are better, I'll change mine. No, I know what my 3 will probably be.
So fiber optics.
Okay. Right. So hang on. Before, are you going to do you want to say them all, or do you want to go through them one by one? Because I want to ask a question about that.
Well, I don't mind. Whatever.
Okay. So fiber optics. Do you do that close up as well? And at tables?
Yeah, that's what you just said, wasn't it? Doing it tables,
yeah. Because I do. I sometimes do rope, but I don't do it close up. I only ever do it cabaret or sometimes at a kid show.
I do it.
I very rarely do a close up.
If I'm booked for mingle, like mix and mingle stuff without doing the tables, I'll do it. I'll do it and walk around as well.
Okay, so tell me why you do that. I think I know the answer, but I'd like to hear.
Well, several reasons. One is it's all done up here, right? So if you're performing at a table, you're not down here where they can't see what's going on very well. It's all done up here. Okay, so everything's there. Your face is in the frame of reference. I've got a lot of jokes for it. It's my opening trick very often at a table because you get all the funnies are built in. You know what I mean? You don't even have, and you can judge your audience by how they react to some of the gags in this. You know, if you can't pull a piece of rope out of your pocket and make something funny with that, then you know, and you know where the audience are and how far you can take things or not. But the main thing is it's just a great trick. You know, it's visual, it's fast. You know, I've done it that many times. I can do it without even thinking about it. My fingers just take over, and then you just stuff it in your pocket, and you're ready to walk up to the next group and do it straight away.
Yeah, it's good. And is that something that you got from? Did you watch the DVD, the download, or have you got stuff from the book?
I've been doing that for about 20 years. Richard Sanders was on a lecture tour in the UK.
Yeah, I was just going to come on to that, just for people who are watching who don't know what the routine is. So it's produced by it's a routine by Richard Sanders. There was a DVD out years ago which had his routine on.
I think I learned it from the DVD. So I already knew how to do Professor's Nightmare, which is the first phase of that routine. And I think I bought when he was over here. I'm pretty sure I bought it from him when he was lectured. I could be wrong. And I learned it, and I don't do the full routine. It's a little bit too long for me. But the good thing about it is you can learn it all in phases, and then you can leave bits out and you can add bits and all the rest of it. But it's really visual and it's funny and it's just great effect for you.
Yeah,
and it takes up one pocket. And depending on what else I'm doing at a set, the rope will either live in my right jacket pocket or my right rear trouser pocket or pants pocket, as you call it.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Okay. Sounds good. You've answered the questions that I was going to ask.
So that's the first one. The second one, it's an either or. It's either coin vexed or chop cup.
Okay. You can only pick one. You can pick 3 altogether. So you're picking both of those, or those the other 2?
No. In which case, then I'm going to go chop cup.
Right.
And then a signed card routine to wallet, etc.
So what's interesting about all 3 of your choices is they are all tricks which are suitable for close up, as in you could do them down here one-on-one if you just had 2 people. You can also do them up here on the vertical plane, and you could even do all 3 of those as a cabaret routine on a small stage, for instance, in front of a crowd. So those 3 things work.
And I probably have at some point
for everything. They work well on all of those things. Chop cup, yeah, great trick, great routine, which you can do with that. And what was your third one?
Just a signed card routine, and then it depends on the audience how much time I've got. So I'll sometimes do a longer, ambitious card routine. Sometimes I'll just do one thing like a transposition or whatever, and then it goes into the wallet, and then I do like an omnideck. Sometimes I might finish with like my cigarette lighter, the light, or I sometimes use John Allen's destination box as like an impossible location to finish.
Yeah.
But that's very fluid. It's a sign card routine, but it's very fluid. I do lots of different things with it, depending on how much time I've got at each group. If I've got, like I did, for example, I did a corporate last week, and I had 9 tables. And at the start of it, I was doing the full routine, but by the time I got to table 7, I realised I'd only got about another 10 minutes before they were going on to a quiz. So I had to speed it up, and it was just literally one phase into the wallet, finish.
Yeah, so again, and that's the same with Extreme Burn and Chop Cup. And again, that's another thing actually I was going to mention here. Those 3 tricks are all like you can do multiple phases on none. So for instance, if you only had a few minutes each table, you could still do all 3 tricks, but just cut down the phases. So for instance, you don't have to do the full length routine of the rope routine. You could cut a few bits out, just skip to it. Pardon the pun, skip. And you can do the same thing with Chop Cup. You can cut a few things out.
My Chop Cup routine is very short anyway.
Oh, is it?
Well, so we'll talk briefly. I'm going to talk about sponge ball routines and Chop Cup routines as one sort of thing, although in as much as with a sponge ball routine, okay, and I've seen people do this, and they go on and on and on and on and on. Why? A sponge ball, right? The thing with a sponge ball is when you put that ball into somebody's hand and they open the hand and there's 2, that's your moment.
Yeah,
right?
That's the strongest moment. Yeah.
And then when they open the hand and there's 5 or 6, that's your moment. All the rest of it, when you keep overproving it and keep doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it, I think you're losing the impact of it. And the same with Chop Cup. Okay, so the first time that the ball isn't where it's expected to be, that's your first moment. And then when you produce your lime and something else, that's it. That's your finish. Keep on making it jump backwards and forwards and going, look how clever I am. I just think you're completely losing them.
I very rarely I don't even do a multiple ball finish. I usually finish with 2, and then I do a couple of vanishes at the end. I very rarely do a load of sponge balls because I hate picking them up off the floor and stuff at the end.
Well, so what I do, this is a tip I got off Gary Jones years ago, was I only produce 4. You could do it with more, but I put the balls inside somebody's hand, so they think they've got 2, and then I say to them, right, so turn your hand over, and then I'll get them, if it's a kid or whatever, I'll get them to do this, and I say, reach in, take the first one out, and they do, and I take it off them, take the other one out, and they do, and they go, and then take the next one out, and they produce them themselves one at a time, and I take them back in a controlled manner.
Yeah, that's good. The other reason I don't do sponge balls much anymore is I don't like the bulk in my jacket. Sometimes if I do it, I have them in my pants pockets, because I don't like the bulk in the pockets of sponges and stuff. It doesn't matter for you. Yeah, anyway. I'm still wearing skinny jeans because I'm still young enough and hip to be able to do that. So anyway, moving on.
Hey, you need a hip replacement. I don't know about hip.
I don't know. Anyway, let's quickly talk about my 3. I'll just quickly talk about them quickly, and then we'll move on. My 3 are very, very easy. I would do my coin routine opener, which I'm sure you've seen a million times.
I don't think people have seen it, so you want to talk about it briefly. So you do your raffle ticket to produce the coin?
Yeah, so I have a raffle ticket or flash paper, depending on where I'm working. I produce a coin. I then do a coin transposition vanish. Then I do a bite out coin. Then I do another vanish, and then I produce, and then a reproduction of the coin, and then a jumbo coin to finish, a jumbo £2 coin to finish. It's essentially 5 magic moments that happen in about 45 seconds, so it happens really, really quick. I'll do it.
That bit where I used to use a flash paper to produce a coin myself, and that moment when you light it and it appears is really magical.
Yeah, and I normally when I go up to a table, this covers one of the other questions actually, and when I go up to a table, I never ever say I'm the magician before I start the trick. I literally go up, do it. I say, by the way, has anybody got a raffle ticket? No, or you need a light. If you light, you can turn it into a coin. If you do this with a coin, you can do this, blah, 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 blah. 45 seconds later, I produce the jumbo coin, I drop it on the table, and I go, oh, and by the way, I'm the magician, just in case you wondered who I was, which gets a laugh. And I say somebody over there thought it was the Rod Stewart impersonator or stripper or whatever it might be, or the man from On the Buses, as you quite kindly said the other week.
It wasn't me who said that, mate. It was one of your viewers.
So yeah, quickly go through this. So that's that. Then I'll generally, and the second trick I'd probably do would be elastic bands. Me elastic band routine, which usually the snapped restored one, and then Crazy Man's handcuffs, and then sometimes I'd finish with the time ladder. And then my other trick, which I never go anywhere without, is ring flight. So ring flight I use to the death.
Which one do you use?
So I use an original one. It's a Mac Magic one called Immaculate Ring Flight, which Magic Box are actually reproducing, hopefully for Blackpool for next year. It's the best quality one I've ever come across, and we've sold all of them.
And it's in the old leather case?
Yes, it's in the old leather case, and a lot of people say, "Oh, it's not old-fashioned." And the reason this is a whole other this is a whole other conversation. This, and we're going to run out of time here. But the reason I use that is because when the ring is inside a zipped compartment inside something, it's better than, in my opinion, just being on your keychain. Now there's some fantastic ring flights. Mark Bennett AirTag, fantastic. What's he called? The one built into the key fob. Bonsel's one's fantastic. I've tried them all, but they don't get as good a reaction as the wallet. And I think the reason being is because you bring the wallet out, and I make a big thing of saying, in the back pocket I've got my wallet. Now I know it's old-fashioned, but I like it because it's safe. And the reason it's safe because I have to literally unzip it to get inside, and inside are all my keys, but not just keys. There's your ring, blah blah blah. Now it's the same thing.
The old, if you know, paint it red thing in it. You know, I know it's old-fashioned, but
exactly. And I make a point of saying what it is, and that it is old-fashioned. But it's, imagine if you did card to pocket, right?
Yeah.
Now imagine if that card was now in an envelope in your pocket. Better. Imagine if the card was in an envelope in a wallet in your pocket. Better again. And that's for me why ring flight inside the zipped case gets a stronger reaction than it just being on your keys. It's inside a zipper compartment. If it was inside a zipper compartment, inside a wallet or something, or like I don't know, your Nesta wallets like Nick Einhorn's, that again is a great option inside something inside. It makes it more impossible for me. So that would be my sort of 3 go-to things that I would do. The only other thing I would sometimes substitute in, and I hate doing it, but it gets such a good reaction, instead of the elastic bands, I would do double cross. Like double cross is like a lot of magicians go to, isn't it? It's just gets such a strong reaction. It's hard to leave it out.
I haven't done it for years. The last time I used it, it let me down. The thing had failed, and I was just
right.
And I've never bothered with it since, but it does get a good reaction,
So with that, let's move on to the next question. So moving on to the next question, and this works. This kind of fits in what we've just been talking about, doesn't it? So next question comes from Steve Weeks, and it is, what are your top tricks for mix and mingle that work on a vertical plane and don't require a table? So this is a perfect question, which leads on from our last one, which were favourite 3 tricks that we have in our pockets that we do if we were doing close-up.
Yeah, so if I'm doing mix and mingle and I am doing the tables, then it's going to be different, obviously, because I'm going to save those tricks for when I get to the tables. So it's a bit of a strange. But
again, the tricks that you mentioned, which are your three favourite, like what I was saying to you before, is you can do them close up and on a vertical plane. So there's nothing to stop you from doing that table over there, or that group of people, then going to that table and doing the same 3 tricks, but in a different performance style.
Yeah, but normally when you're doing a gig, if you're doing mix and mingle, like drinks reception or photographs at a wedding or whatever, but then you're doing the tables later,
you're in a different set,
Unless you're at a ginormous gig where you're not going to cross over, you're going to see the same people again. So I would do different stuff. I'm going to say if I am not going to be doing the tables, then I would say the tricks that we mentioned earlier. I possibly wouldn't do chop cup. I can do an in the hands chop cup routine, and I sometimes do. In fact, in my little drawer here, if I'm doing an in the hands routine, there is the cup that I use. So this is a tiny little cup, and it just sits on my hand. And I produce an egg and then a chicken nugget from inside there. which is quite funny because I produce the egg. And they like the egg, and I say, and then I'll say, and now I'm going to produce a chicken, and I lift it up, and then a little chicken nugget just falls over, and it gets a bit of a laugh, yeah, I'll just do a couple of card tricks and maybe a coins across or something like that as well.
So for me, the tricks that I do on a vertical plane, which again, similar to you, ring flight. So ring flight for me, I do on stage as well. I do that on stage in front of 400 people. I do that close up to one-on-one. And if there's a table of people there, I'll do it on that because again, the vanish is here. I can do the vanish here if need be. I can use flash paper to vanish it. And then I bring the wallet out. And the wallets, and this is not the wallet, but the wallet's held in front of us like this, and the keys drop down here. So it's quite a nice visual with the keys, and then I fold the keys up and the rings hanging there.
What's the reset like on that?
On the ring flight? It's instant, this version. Instant. So you literally just zip it back up as you're talking to them. You take the ring out, you zip it back up, give them the ring, and put it in your pocket, and that's the reset done.
But how do you set it in front of them to get the gimmick in play?
I don't. I steal the gimmick as I'm talking. So some people do like to, it does lock, but I don't think it needs to lock. In fact, I think it's better that it doesn't, because once I've got the gimmick, once I've stolen the gimmick, the piece, these hands can still move
you just
around.
Grab it while they're taking the ring off, basically.
Exactly, yeah. I actually will go over this sometime, but I generally do it as a gag. I'll say, have you got a ring I can borrow? Oh, yes. Oh, no, sorry, I need an expensive ring. And I'll turn around as if I'm walking away. As I turn around, that's when my hand drops down and steals the gimmick. And now I come back and say, I'm only kidding. Can I borrow the ring? And now I'm ready to go.
Have you never been slapped for saying that?
Lots of times. Can you not tell why it's red on the side? Taylor, can you get me a card morph, please, off the shelf? So that's, by the way, I'm just talking to Taylor there. And Taylor, if anyone's watching this who doesn't know, Taylor works here on a Friday, and he's a lot younger, can I say this, than me and Chris are. And that's why we're on Zoom, because me and Chris did not have a clue how to set this up.
I sent Graham a message saying now we know how our parents felt when we used to program the video for them in the 80s, and anybody over a certain age will know exactly what I'm talking about there.
Yeah, it's actually embarrassing. Like I said to Chris, to Taylor, I says, Taylor, will you sort this whole Zoom thing out and get the angles and everything right? And he was like, yeah, let's do that. And it took him like 30 seconds.
Let's do that, Grandad.
So yeah, thank you, Taylor. He's done a good job here at Magic Box. So yes, that's I would do ring flight, some card stuff, but this is a trick which Magic Box and I produced last year, and I'm not going to do the full routine, but I'm just going to show you what this looks like. And I love doing this to a big table of say 10 people, because this looks great, and it's made for this for that vertical plane. So you have a card selected. The card is the 8 of diamonds. I'll not bore you with the whole routine. You bring out the 6 of diamonds and you hold it. I usually hold it like up here. You can't see this because the camera's tracking, but I generally let the camera just track back. There they go. And I'll take it like that, and I'll just shake it like this. And as I shake it, it actually looks like it visibly changes into the 8 of diamonds. And then I'll pass it out, and do a sneaky little move to switch it, and then hand that out to them as the 8 of diamonds. But literally that moment where you can literally hold your hand here and do it visibly for the whole table to see, and it gets like proper like shock reaction.
That is nice. I've seen you do it in the shop.
Really I love doing that at big tables. I'll do exactly that because it's made for vertical plane. You can still do a close up. You can do it like in your hand here if you wanted to. This camera is tracking, so it's different.
I know,
it's tracking my face everywhere.
If you move your hand too close, it goes up your nose as well. So just stop doing that, will you?
Yeah, right. Anyway, you get the idea. So that's the other thing I would do. Sort of vertical plane. Yes, that's the main two things that I would do.
The rainbow wallet. Is it rainbow wallet? The one where they use their phone as well. That's good for that.
Oh, phantom card. Yeah, yes. I wouldn't. The problem with that is I only do that on small groups of people, because the problem is everybody doesn't see the ending at the same time.
That's what we're talking about. We're talking about mix and mingle now.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, mix and mingle, it's fine. But on a vertical plane, I wouldn't generally use it or even on a big table of 10. And I'll tell you the reason why is because you've got one person who's got the phone. They get the reaction, but
Oh yeah,
nobody
yeah.
else does. So the reaction then goes slowly around as the pasta. It doesn't really
I
work.
wouldn't do it. Yeah, I wouldn't do it as a. I've never done it as a table trick, but for mix and mingle and drinks receptions, I have been using it recently, and it's gone down really well.
Yeah.
People love it. They freak out, especially younger people. You know, it's for you've got a young crowd in their sort of 20s and stuff. It's for them. It's perfect.
Yeah, quick story about that. So if anybody who's wondering what we're talking about a trick called Phantom Card. And what it is this is the effect. You have a card select. You give somebody a wallet. You borrow somebody's phone. I swap their phone for my wallet. You give them the wallet. They open the wallet. You take a photograph of them holding the wallet open. The wallet's empty, clearly. They close the wallet, put it in their own pocket. You put the phone on the table or in someone's hand. You have a card selected. The card vanishes from the deck. And you say, would it be cool if the card was in the wallet? They open the wallet, there's nothing in it. You say, it didn't happen now, it happened 3 minutes ago, it happened in the past. They say, what do you mean? You take the wallet back, put it in your pocket, you give them their phone back, they look at the camera, and 3 minutes ago when they took the photograph, the card is now in the wallet, which was previously empty. That's a short version of what the trick is. That's the Phantom Card. Really great trick. And I've done this for years now, that routine that I do. And I was doing a gig once, and a guy afterwards came out the venue, and he went, that trick you did was amazing, like really good, but I figured out, he says, I can do it. And I went, right, oh, all right, okay. So he basically gave me his phone. First of all, it was his phone, whereas I borrowed your phone. But anyway, give us his phone, put it on the table, and he just had me. Well, he badly forced a card, and then he just turned the phone over and said, "There, matches." And I was like, "Hang on, I don't think you've got the concept." I says, "I borrowed your phone. It was on your phone in your picture. It wasn't my phone." He went, "Oh, right." He says, "Oh, I do know what you did then." He says, "When you took the phone," he says, "you must have opened, you must have went onto the internet, opened up a like a Canva type editing program, took the photograph of me holding it, and then superimposed a card on the top and shrunk it and put it in the wallet." And I said, "What? Within like 3 seconds of us taking the phone?" He went, and I went, "Yep, that's exactly how I did that trick. That's exactly how it worked. Exactly, mate. Yeah." And that was it. And I walked off. But that's what he thought I'd done. He thought I'd literally took the photograph, put it into an editing suite on his own phone, put the card in, copied the card into the wallet, and then closed it all down and left no evidence within 3 seconds of me just taking the phone and taking the photograph.
But the weird thing is, like, some people,
Like,
as long as they've got an explanation of what
yeah,
you've
yeah,
done,
they
they're
don't
happy
care.
with that,
Yeah, exactly. That's
yeah.
right.
Okay,
That's
mate,
what I said. I
that's
just
fine.
go, yeah, that's right. That's exactly how I did it.
Perfect. Well, there we go then. So that's the questions for this week. Keep them coming. And
Yeah, we have got some other questions, by the way, which we will do in the next, probably the next video. So we're going to save those for the next one. But if anyone has got any more questions, as Chris says, keep them coming. Let's move on to
reviews.
I keep getting that the wrong reviews. To move. Okay, reviews. So first review is going to be quite a quick one, and it is Shining.
Ooh, here's Graham.
The Shining. Yeah, here's Graham. So we briefly talked about this after Blackpool, didn't we? So this is one of the products that I physically bought at Blackpool, and we briefly talked about what it was.
Bully a kid with glasses in the audience.
I have, and I've done some other cool stuff with it since, actually. But I really like this prop, and now it's for sale. Magic Box Seller. You can get it at other magic dealers, but why would you go to another magic dealer? That's the question. So you can get this from Murphy's Sell It, so it's available at pretty much most magic stores and Magic Box Seller. And I've got the prop here, and I thought I'd quickly
Let's have a look at it then.
Show you it. So this is the actual prop itself.
Oh,
it is,
wow.
in all intents and purposes, a proper angle grinder. Let's keep going out. So these cameras keep trying to focus on our faces. That's why the camera's a bit weird. So this is the prop. It's very, very well made. And I'll show you briefly what it does. You can borrow somebody's phone. You can turn it on. Very noisy. And then... oh, you could do your mix.
That looks great.
Sounds mad, doesn't it? It's quite. Was that loud?
Now he cut the sound off.
Couldn't even hear. You couldn't even hear it, could you?
I couldn't hear it here now. But that looks fantastic, and I can see why it's so expensive. So it's quite an expensive prop, right?
It is. Yeah, I'll not lie. It's 300 quid plus, I think.
Yeah.
But it's very well made. It'll last
Well, if
you
you've
forever.
got a place for that in your shop, in your show, then it's money well spent, I guess. So the gimmick, the bit that's causing the sparks,
Yeah.
is that something that you can easily replace when it, because it obviously can wear out and so on.
So it comes. You can buy the gimmicks. You can buy the gimmicks from pretty much B&Q, any hardware store, to replace them. It does come with a pack of about 10 of them, and I've had this since Blackpool. I've not replaced one gimmick yet, so it'll last ages. I've just had to charge it once. It also comes with, which I have used a couple of times, it comes with this really cool, can I say what it is? I'll not tell you how it works exactly, but the routine is you borrow somebody's phone, and after you've done that whole thing on it, you turn the phone around and the screen's all broken and like glitching. And then you
mentioned that, yeah.
And then you snap your fingers and the phone goes back to normal. Now you can hand them their own phone back. And it uses an extra special little gimmick that comes with it, an extra special something which you use on their phone as you pick their phone up. This extra special thing which causes that to happen, which does it, yeah.
But you, like you said, do it on somebody's glasses or something.
Yeah, I mean, I've used it on various different things. We'll just talk about ring flight. I use it when I borrow the person's ring. I say, oh, that's a nice ring. In fact, I can give it a little bit of a clean if you want. I grab that out of my box if I'm doing cabaret. I don't carry this around close up, by the way. You could do. And I borrow the ring and then I go, as a gag, and then put it away. Borrow someone's phone. If you're doing a kid show, here's a great idea. Kid show or a family show, and you've got an adult who's on their phone, just go and nick their phone and just start grinding it with the angle grinder. That gives people the idea, I better not be on my phone during the show, otherwise you'll angle grind it. Sometimes you'll get, if you're doing a kid show, you have a parent taking a photograph of the kid on stage. Once they go to put the phone away, it's a great thing to just go, oh, can I borrow your phone a second? Do it. Quick gag there. Like I mentioned the last time, a funny little thing I do is I've got a kid on stage who's got glasses on, even a kid in the audience. I'll borrow their glasses and say, I'll give them a little clean for you. And I pretend like I'm angle grinding, this kid's glasses. The kid's stand there. The kid can't see the trick. He can't see what I'm doing. So, because he hasn't got his glasses on, has he? So.
As a kid who was bullied for wearing glasses at school, 4 eyes and all that stuff, it's terrible, terrible. So
yeah, it's a good prop. It's expensive to use it as just a little gag, which is what I've bought it for.
Yes.
But it's a good gag. It's a good gag, and you can do the full trick if you want to with the phone.
At the end of the day, mate, it's 3 gigs for you and it's paid for, so it's
7 gigs for me actually. 7 gigs.
So it's
3, 7.
So it's something. If you're going to use it, it's great. So it's over 300 quid.
Yeah.
If you like the look of it, it's well made.
It's well made. It's well packaged. It comes everything you need. Everything's in here. The charger, the little tool thing to change it when you're ready to change it. Charger and everything's in there. And it just works. It's not something you have to like when you get to your show. It's not something you have to prepare. I just chuck it in my case, in my cabaret case on my kids' family show. Just chuck it in. And I might use it in the show, I might not. But if an opportunity comes up, you can just pick it up and do it instantly. There's no setup, no messing about. It just works every time. So it's good. So 3 things. The question to me, do I like it? Yes. Would I buy it? Obviously, yes. I bought it. Would I use it? Yes. Because I do. Chris, do you like it?
Yes.
Would you buy it?
No.
No. Would you use it?
No.
No. So there you go. So slightly difference of opinion, but different performance styles.
Well, I don't do much cabaret stuff.
Yeah. That's
and if I did, if I was working in the venues that you work in, then I would absolutely would.
Yeah.
As a guy who just does close-up gigs, I've got no place for it, but I can see its value. I think it's great.
Yeah. Cool. Right. Let's move on.
Next one.
Review number 2.
That's 4.
2. Sorry. 2. Review number 2. And this is just come out last week. Was it last week? Last week. And
yes.
It is.
I did have some at Blackpool, I believe.
Castle wallet, yes. Okay.
And then it came out properly this week, Alakazam.
Yeah. So this is the Castle wallet by Simon Lipkin.
Simon Lipkin.
Produced by the 1914 and Alakazam now, because Alakazam now bought.
So I'm gonna start off.
I'll let you take the lead.
I'm a big fan of Simon Lipkin. As a magician, as a performer, as a person, he's an incredibly nice guy. And so I'm going to try not to be biased in my review here, but because it's difficult to separate the person from the prop sometimes. Mm-hmm. Having said that, this is fantastic, right? I'm going to say that right from the start. It's so well made. It's so well thought out. It comes with a load of routines and stuff. Now, I'm not a big fan of peak wallets. I've always found it a bit weird. You take a card out of your wallet, you write some information down on it, and then you put it back inside the wallet, and then you reveal what's written on the card. And maybe it's just my magician's brain. And I've seen the effect that people can have with it, right? But I've always found it a bit nonsensical. However, having said all that, right, you can also use this for double writing. And you can use this for writing down. And that's where I think this really comes into its own. I think you can do absolute miracles with this. Simon does a couple of sort of fairly, I'm not going to say basic routines, but he gives you some routines to get you started and your creative juices going. And, there's one where you take a trip around the world and stuff like that. And at the end of it, you've got the spectator has said that they want to go. I think he does it in the video to Mark Oberon, and Mark says that he wants to go to New York. And then at the end, you reach in between two solid credit cards and you take out a prediction that was apparently there from the start, and it says New York City. Now, if you were to double this up with the other product,
graphite, that's what I was going to come on to once you'd done
graphite,
that. Yeah.
My goodness me, what a miracle that would be. I mean, that's just so good. So good. You could start religions with it almost.
Yeah. I sort of echo what you said. For people who don't know, it's a peak wallet essentially. The first thing I'll say about the peak wallet is it's a modern wallet. Now, I've talked about this before. We'll do a special at some point on wallets. But it is a modern type wallet. So this is the sort of wallet that people are carrying these days, or younger people are anyway. People like me, maybe not you, but people like me carry like a more modern style wallet. So this is like a metal type carbon fiber designed wallet.
And this has been built from the ground up.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, it's not a wallet that they've bought on Temu and then modified or anything. It is a genuine wallet that they've made from the ground up. And it's a nice wallet. It's got the credit card. If I can pop that, the credit cards pop out like this from it, and then the lock down in position. You've got like a little lock on the side there, which locks it in place. It's very well made. It's a modern style wallet with your cards and cash you can hide in there. But it's a peak wallet, which you can also use for double writing.
Out to lunch as well, I think, can't you?
You can. Yeah, that's what that band is on there for.
The band's for. Yeah. But for me, the strength, as I don't use peak wallets, I would definitely use this for writing. I think it's fantastic for that. I think it's really brilliant. You could create some amazing routines with it. So I think it's an absolutely brilliant idea. And like I say, I'm a fan of Simon's work anyway. We did Pierce the other week, didn't we? And he's got Tricolour out, which is the routine with the Sharpies and stuff. I think he's a really smart guy. And if you haven't checked him out, I'm sure we mentioned this before, check him out as Fagin in Oliver Twist in the West End as well. Brilliant performer.
Yeah, we did review one of his effects on a couple ago, which was pierced, which was the little pins. That's his as well. Again, he is a very good thinker. He's a good guy. He's a good-looking guy, unfortunately, for us, but for all men really. But that's another. Anyway, we'll not go into that. What was I going to say on this? Yeah, for anybody who's not aware, the graphite is a double writing tool which you can use really well with this, is what Chris was saying. We reviewed it. Did we review this last week?
No, we talked about it after the CCC, but we haven't reviewed it yet. I think you had some in, but they've sold
We
out,
do.
haven't they?
We've got some more that's just come in
They've
today.
got some more.
Yeah, so we do sell the graphite, which is a great double writing tool, and that would, as Chris says, would work really well with this. I can't really go into the details on exactly how it works and how this works, because it's not ours to give away, neither is graphite.
I mean, it's fair to say, you write your prediction down. You're writing what the spectator says in Sharpie, and then when you pull your prediction out at the end, it would be written in pencil.
Yeah.
So it's completely,
in pencil.
you're writing in two complete, not only different colours, but different
materials. Yeah,
different materials.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think it's good. I think it's well priced for how much it is. It retails
84 quid, is it, or something?
75 pound retail. It's very well sort of boxed, very well packaged. Instructions are great, very in depth. Lots of different routines on there. I think there's at least 6, maybe even 10 routines on it, different things you can do with it. But I think once you see the principle of how it works, I think you could come up with loads of stuff with it. Even just using it as the peak, I think is worth the money. So I think for 75 quid, it's very well made. So yeah, I would rank it quite highly, to be honest.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
So it is a 1914 product produced by Alakazam. It's available at all Magic retailers, including Magic Box and Alakazam, of course. You can get it from there, but it's very good. So the question is, Chris, do you like it?
Yes.
Would you buy it?
Yes.
Would you use it?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Ask me.
Do you like it?
Yes.
Would you buy it?
No.
Oh. Would you use it? Obviously not, if you wouldn't buy it.
No. The only reason I don't is because I've already got a go-to wallet, which I use similar, which is a similar thing to this. But having said that, the wallet that I've got, you can't do double writing with. So I would change my opinion maybe slightly on that. The only reason I wouldn't buy it is because I prefer the wallet I already use. And it's a bit more practical for me because the wallet I already use does something else. We'll talk about that another day. But my wallet, you can't do the double writing thing, whereas this you can. So
I think that's its biggest strength as well, you know.
Yeah, I think it probably is. I think you're probably right. But I'm not really a mentalist. It's not really something that I do a lot of. And that's one of the questions that someone's asked, actually, which we'll come on to probably in the next video. Someone's asked about mentalism and do we do mentalism, which we can talk about later. So yes, that's my opinion. I think it's very, very good. The only reason I wouldn't buy and use it is because I've already got something similar. But the downside is mine doesn't do double writing. So there you go. Okay, so that's it. That's another video, Chris.
Yeah, let us know what you think about this format. We prefer being in the studio together, but at the moment it's not always going to be possible. So yeah, hopefully it's not been too bad, and Graham's constantly moving face hasn't put you off too much. But yeah, have a great week, everyone. And
we might do a couple. We might have to do a couple more like this, but hopefully we are got plans where we're going to film more together. So there will be more filmed together properly, but there will be a couple like this. Taylor has asked me as well, if you are watching these, enjoying them, subscribe to the channel, either Chris's or Magic Box's or both, and click that little bell wherever it might be on the screen. Taylor might show you where that is, to get updates on when the new videos come out, so you'll see the latest reviews and all that kind of stuff as well. But other than that,
comments as well.
Keep your comments coming. Love to read them. We do read all the comments that go on either video, and on Facebook we do read all of them. But that's it. That's another video.
Brilliant. Have a great week, everyone.
That's it from me. That's it from you.
Are we going to do this?
Do that. Bank holiday weekend. Enjoy your bank holiday weekend, folks. See you then. Ciao.